One of the major crops in Zimbabwe is maize, but monocultures can be especially vulnerable, especially under extreme weather conditions. That is something that lots of African farmers are experiencing. Some communities in Zimbabwe are now starting to switch to local varieties. They are often harder, can make do with less rain and can withstand pests. An agricultural research institute wants to set up a seed bank for these crops.
Northern Zimbabwe's rivers have dried up due to a severe drought in the region. Desperate villagers have dug holes along the dried-out riverbeds to collect water to keep their gardens moist. Over 80% of the nation's farmers grow maize. Hard hit by the dry spell in this region, much of the crop has already begun to wilt. Hilton Mbozi is an agronomist with Pt2, an NGO that seeks to improve the livelihoods of rural communities in the country. He is convinced that maize monocultures can't provide food and seed security.
With this climate change now, maize always fail. Farmers, maybe 5 years they plant maize or they grow maize. Maybe they just get a decent yield once out of every 5 years. So maize is very susceptible to droughts, to stresses caused by climate change.
Pt2 has helped establish the Chibika Community Seed Bank to promote the more drought and stress-tolerant varieties of small grains like sorghum or chickpeas. Dorothy Chiwotanziawa has come here to take a delivery of small grain, which she is expected to pay back in seed interest after harvest. This in turn will boost the bank's seed stock. The seeds are stored under cool and dry conditions, and they can last for up to 2 years in the facility.
The good thing about a seed bank is that it's monitored by different agricultural specialists. In addition, the seed bank is well secured. It's different from keeping your seed within the confines of your household. In a household setup, your seed might be destroyed by fire or even theft.
So far, there are only a few places like Harare's biggest open market where small grain farmers can sell their products. But gradually, awareness and attitudes are changing.
Compared with previous years, things have changed. Demand is now very high among customers.
As a result, the price of a 20-kilogram unit of small grains is 40% higher than that for maize. That has prompted Pt2 to also create a local company where farmers can now supply their produce and in turn get paid. The seed bank in northern Zimbabwe's Mudzi district is already working with over 40 villages.
Now we need to move a gap. Farmers, why not actually also build the capacity of the farmers so that they produce seed on their own? Because seed, especially the hybrid seed, is very expensive.
For farmers in Zimbabwe's drought-stricken rural areas, small grain seed banks are a welcome opportunity to move away from the high risks of maize farming. They provide food security and cut costs for the farmers and their families.
Now let's talk about cars, Neota. I mean in an ecological sense. Does anyone in your country take care of what those exhaust fumes are doing to our climate?
Of course, there's a small community of hybrid car owners here in the city of Lagos. A hybrid vehicle has both an internal combustion engine and electric motor. The aim is to achieve greater fuel economy and lower CO2 emissions than conventional cars. Those people are not only fascinated by the technical innovations, but also want to contribute to protecting the environment. Lagos has almost 2 million conventional cars, but our eco-hero this week is swimming against the tide.
Anyone who lives in Lagos is familiar with this. The loud gridlock of rush hour in Nigeria's commercial capital. Every day, these vehicles discharge toxic gases that pollute the air and escalate global warming. Well, there's a solution to this problem and it's almost silent. The start button of a hybrid car, like the one that belongs to a 35-year-old entrepreneur Adebola Odenike. The car runs on both petrol and electric energy. It's one of just a handful in Nigeria.
Basically, energy comes from the battery or the engine, and you have the converter here to convert the current to DC to be stored inside the battery. So in this mode, my battery is well charged to hold the vehicle alongside the passengers. So as you can see, the battery is discharging. There's a yellow arrow showing that energy is going outside, moving out of the battery pack. So the engine can also supply power to the wheel. As you can see, the engine is supplying the power to the wheel.
Most of the cars in Lagos run on petrol or diesel, both of which produce pollution. The World Bank says Nigeria's air quality is poor and a danger to public health.
Most of those fumes you see coming out of exhaust contains carbon monoxide. Now, when the lungs is packed full of all these things, there is not enough gaseous exchange. Then there is not enough oxygen in the system.
Adebola is so committed to clean energy, he's even become a mechanic of sorts.
I started basically with my love for inverters, solar, renewable energy basically, which was where I moved on to hybrid vehicle use, then maintenance.
Over 12 million hybrid vehicles have been sold worldwide, but only a few of those have made their way to Lagos. The small community has created a dedicated WhatsApp group on the topic. Adebola is one of its administrators.
We offer support to hybrid users nationwide. It's not for a fee, but for us to all encourage ourselves and give ourselves and exchange information basically. We have over 86 members.
Apart from fixing his own car, he also helps out with others like this 2010 model. It's proven a bit difficult to fix, and so Adebola is meeting Ike, the head of the WhatsApp group, to get some more advice. Ike, a computer engineer, has a surprise in store. He just bought a 2016 hybrid that he's happy to show off. The vehicle runs on a more efficient energy storage device, a lithium-ion battery. Adebola bought his hybrid second-hand. It cost 2.5 million naira, around $7,000. Now that's about $500,000 naira or $400 more than similar petrol-powered models. Although they are still more expensive, he hopes that someday, soon, all the cars on his city's roads will be hybrids or even fully electric.